Happy 4th of July, AMP family, AMP community. Happy 4th of July. I hope that everybody is having an amazing weekend. I know that it's, still pretty early in the day. It's only around 12:45 p.m. Eastern time where I'm located. But, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy and a safe holiday. Definitely take the time to enjoy the little things, right? Enjoy time with the family. Enjoy, a nice, peaceful, and relaxing Sunday. And enjoy the weather too. I hope the weather is nice where everybody's located. I wanted to start today's daily analysis just by looking at AMP on CoinGecko, right? This is really a great place for anybody that doesn't know to find out a lot of resources for AMP, including, their Medium. If you wanted to see, transactions on the Ether blockchain, right? For AMP specifically, they have the explorers here. They have the contract address for anybody that has MetaMask. You can simply just click this and AMP's token address will be added to your MetaMask. We also have, the different communities, the Reddit. Huge shout out to the Reddit family, the Twitter, the Telegram, and the Discord. So yeah, this is really, a great overview just to dive into the metrics, details, and some additional resources for AMP for anybody that doesn't know about CoinGecko.com, right? So without further ado, let's hop into the charts, right? I wanted to start today's chart by having everything laid out so you guys can understand what I'm about to say, right? So, yesterday we did rule some cases of, either we have this falling wedge, we have this bearish pennant, or, it could possibly be a bearish pennant fake out, right? And just zooming in a little bit more, right? The falling wedge, guys, this is actually ruled out at this point, right? Normally with a falling wedge, it will fall down like this, like how AMP has been doing. And then somewhere around the apex of the triangle, right? Somewhere around the end of the triangle, either around the 85% completion or the 95% completion range, right? We would have a breakout and possibly a retest, but the breakout would continue to go up, right? We would confirm a falling wedge with a breakout. But with AMP, right? Yes, we broke out, but we were also hit with some resistance right here, right? Which sort of, which actually rules out this falling wedge pattern, right? So we can edit our text here and we can make an educated guess or an educated decision that tells us that we have invalidated what we thought was a falling wedge here, right? Which brings us to, these two cases, right? Either we have a bearish pennant on the daily, or this is a bearish pennant fake out, right? So, yesterday, July 3rd, we did close with a doji, right? That candlestick specifically, we did close with a doji, right? I'll remove this huge, whoops. I will remove this just so you guys can see the candlestick right there, right? So we have this doji, right? This is how we closed yesterday's candle right there, right? And this is signaling that we are due for a reversal to the upside. Again, this may be a little bit of confirmation bias from my perspective, but just understanding what the candlesticks are telling us, right? With this doji, this is telling us that both the buyers and sellers are agreeing on the open market price of AMP, right? They think that this is a fair value range, both to purchase AMP and also to sell AMP, right? The candlesticks, they always tell a story, right? It's a story of buyers and sellers, the stories of the bulls versus the bears, the story of sell pressure versus buying pressure, right? And, this story, how it's been playing out since June 22nd, where we had this fall, is that, AMP was overvalued. It was overpriced, peaking up to 12 cents a little bit too fast from the Coinbase listing, right? And now the story is saying that, okay, this is a fair price both to buy and to sell. So I just wanted to explain the psychology behind these candles a little bit, just for y'all to understand a little bit more. So today, right, I will remove this really quick. Today we actually do have another doji forming right here, right? I will draw a circle around that. We have another doji forming right there, right? And we are still in this bearish pennant formation, right? But the story of the candlesticks right now is telling us that, you know, we are in a fair market buying range, right? And that's exactly where I think AMP should be. I think that is healthy, but at the same time, we just have to see how this plays out, right? For those who did call, you know, a breakdown to the downside, just because it was forming, or we have confirmation now that this is a bearish pennant. You know, they were expecting AMP to sort of come underneath it and then fall, right? And as you can see right now, we are actually sitting right above this resistance line, right? This is the resistance line. Every time, you know, we wicked up, boom, hit this line, we fell down. We wicked up, boom, we fell down. We wicked up past it, boom, we fell down again. We hit it one more time, right? We fell. But now, you know, today, on the 4th of July, we are floating right above it. We're right above it, right? So, you know, this could possibly be a fake out. If it's not a fake out, then, you know, again, there's a strong possibility that we could fall down to the 5 cent level, where we know support held. And if that doesn't hold, then it's very possible that we could fall down to the 0.038 level, right? Because that's our next level of support. We don't want to rule these out, right? We know that we have support here. I'll draw a line. Whoops. Let me get my tool really quick. Okay, I'll draw a horizontal line. We know that we have support at the 0.038 level here, right? And we know that we have support here at the right on a 5 cents level, right? So in any case, right, if we do move to the downside, those will be, you know, two key areas where I think support should hold. Now, what if, you know, we move to the upside, right? There's a strong possibility that, you know, this scenario could play out like this. Since we are sitting above this resistance line currently, as long as we get a good close on today's daily candle, right, we could go up to retest this strong support line that we see on the weekly as well as on the daily, on all of our time frames, right? We could hit it once, we could hit it twice and form a new higher low, right? And then we could go above it, retest to make sure that we're holding strong for support, and then go up to, you know, our second targeted price range area where we had previous support that flipped resistance at the 0.074 level, right? So that's also a scenario that could happen. But, you know, I think that we just need a little bit more time to understand what the market wants to do, because again, we do have confirmation that this is a bearish pennant in the short term, but we don't know if this is a fake out or if, you know, the bear scenario will play out and we fall down to, you know, our lower lows. So more to come with that, but, you know, we shall wait and see what happens. All right, so that's what we have going on the daily, right? Let's take a look at the 4 hour. This is where it gets interesting, right? And again, I'm saying that this is interesting because, you know, we do have this harmonic crab playing out, right? And we also spotted our bullish butterfly harmonic pattern play out on the 4 hour, right? Although it didn't play out on the daily, we did have, strong price action, strong price movement on the daily, right? So I think that the 4 hour, right, the 4 hour time frame, this is really our key indicator right here. And I think this is the one that we want to pay attention to the most, because this is where we've seen patterns and trends play out and hold strong, right? This is where we spotted things that played out across all time frames. So again, just looking at the 4 hour, I went over this yesterday, I believe, and we do have this market structure forming that's letting us know that there are people, there's big money, there's also retail traders and investors accumulating at this area, right? And I went back and applied the Wyckoff's accumulation theory, and this is literally textbook accumulation, right? This is the market structure for textbook accumulation. I think that right now we are right here, right, where I put this this last preliminary support, right? I put this here a few days ago, but I don't think that we will go any lower than this. We may continue to move sideways just a little bit. As you can see, selling pressure and selling volume is dying down a bit, right? If we look at selling volume for the last 12 hours, we have 3 million, we have 2.89 million, and right here 2.82 million. But buying volume right here earlier in the day, we have 5.5 million, right? Buying volume here, we have 6.12 million, right? Buying volume here, we have 3.64, and here we have 38.34 million, right? So we have way more buying volume than we have selling volume, right? Which is letting us know that big players are entering AMP's market. I think that's the most reasonable, educated guess and data-driven decision that we can make based off of what's going on here, right? So what can happen after this accumulation phase is over, right? Well, again, we have to go up to our sign of strength, right? We have to go up to the 6.2, the 0.062 area, right? 6 cents is where we saw a lot of selling pressure. That's where it first started, right? And we can see it because every time we hit it, boom, we hit it, boom. Every time we got close to it, boom, we fell down, right? So I think after this accumulation phase is over, the market could play out something like this, right? Could go up again to retest our trend line as we spotted on the daily. We could hit our sign of strength and then pull back just a little bit before shooting up, right? So that's almost an assured scenario that could play out, especially looking at the 4 hour where we spotted all of our major trends and where all of our major trends played out, right? I think this is the key time frame to really analyze and to understand what's going on. So that's what we have going on the 4 hour. Last but not least, looking at the 1 hour, it's pretty much the same thing. I think the 1 hour tells the story a little bit better of, how this accumulation is happening. We have, a few areas of secondary tests. We have a secondary test here, right? We have another secondary test here, right? And this is all where we're hitting the 0.055 level, right? Where we're hitting 5 cents. And where accumulation, I believe, is happening. And we did fall below that, but again, just applying the Wyckoff's accumulation theory, this was expected to happen, right? This was expected to happen to go beneath our strong support just briefly to get out the weak hands, right? To get out the weak hands to create an opportunity for big players to have great entries into this market, right? And you can see right here, July 3rd at 2 a.m. Eastern, right? We have this huge buying volume, right? 28.9 million, right? You don't see that kind of buying volume until we get here, right? Where we first fell and hit the 0.05 cents mark, right? You see huge buying volume. We see a little bit of buying volume right here as well, right? But it's not in the 28 million mark. Right here, this is 28.89 million in buying volume just on the 1 hour time frame alone, right? So, people are buying the dip. The question is, who is buying the dip, right? And who has enough money to, create a buy order in 1 hour at that? That's equivalent to $28 million in volume, right? So those are the kind of questions that you kind of just have to ask yourself to understand the game, to understand what's going on, to understand who the players are in this market, right? We know for sure that we have some of the smart money coming into AMP. And we can see that just from, assessing this buying volume, right? And by looking at this market structure. The market structure, which is telling us that, we're in a period of accumulation. So that's what we have going on for AMP on all of our time frames. Yes, we did confirm that, we're in this bearish pennant structure. We don't know if it's a fake out or if it will play out exactly to, the textbook of it breaking down to the downside. But today we are sitting above the bearish pennant resistance line, right? So don't let anybody tell you that we are going to fall, right? Use your discernment, right? Wait to see how the daily candle closes, because just like we saw here, everybody thought that we were going down, but then what happened? The last hour of the day we shot up, right? That's why it's important to have patience and to wait for these daily candle structures to close, because that will tell you how the market is moving. That will tell you, what kind of candle structure it is, right? Whether if it's a bullish engulf, whether if it's a doji, whether if it's a bullish pen like we see right here. It really all comes down to, how the daily candles close, because, those take precedence over the intraday time frames, like the 4 hour and the 1 hour, right? So that's what we have going on for AMP today. I do think personally that the bearish pennant that we are in is a fake out, right? And I say that because, you have to understand what's going on with Bitcoin's chart to sort of benchmark the entire crypto market. And, I've said this before, I've applied the Wyckoff accumulation theory to the Bitcoin's chart as well. And, I do expect us to retest the $37,000 range sometime next week. And, possibly over the next 2 weeks going up to, 43,000 again. Why do I say that? Because, right, I showed y'all yesterday. We did close with this bullish pen candlestick, and I expect this to keep moving up until we have signs that, we are going to pull back, right? And there are certain candlesticks that gives us signs or indicators that we're going to pull back. For instance, right here, right? We have a evening star formation, right? That's just understanding the candlesticks. We have this bull candle, but then we have a bearish doji, right? This is letting us know that, the bears are selling it, and there's some sell pressure, right? There's too much supply and not enough demand. There's also, the price went up a little bit too high, and they don't want that to happen, right? They wanted to push price down a little bit more to allow other folks to get into the market. And that's what we see playing out, right? But I think that right now, because we did hit this spring, because we did have this good secondary retest and because we do have a higher low, right? I think that most of the players that wanted to accumulate Bitcoin at great buying levels, I think that they've got in, right? I think that they've got in. So, time will tell how this plays out. But again, Bitcoin is doing well. You have to really benchmark Bitcoin at this time. I'm not saying all the time, but at this time where AMP is still in its infancy, we have to benchmark Bitcoin to it to understand where AMP is in the long run. As long as Bitcoin and Ethereum, two of the highest market cap cryptocurrencies are pretty healthy, then AMP should continue to do well also. And this is what we have going on with Ethereum, right? All the charts look alike, right? And that's not by that there's no coincidence there, right? All the charts look alike. We all had this drop, right? We all had this preliminary support, and then all the markets came up and had this automatic reaction, and then we bounced around. We had the secondary test here, we have a secondary test here, and then we went lower, right? We went lower to get the last of the weak hands out. I can literally repeat myself on all of the major cryptocurrencies time frames because the story and the narrative is the same, right? Flush the weak hands out, cool. Then we have this another secondary test, right? And then we have what? A higher low. And what's playing out, right? We see bullish candles, right? We see a bullish pin again here, right? It's all the same. So if it's all the same across the board, then we can use our technicals as well as the fundamentals to understand what's going on, who's really moving the markets, why they're moving the markets, and where we can expect to go next. All right, so that's what we got going on from AMP perspective and also a macro perspective. Understanding what Bitcoin is doing, understanding what Ethereum is doing, and again, as long as those two are healthy, AMP is healthy for now, at least, right? Because again, we're still in the infancy stage. We are very early. And with that being said, I don't think there's any reason to exit the ship, especially since we're so early, right? So hold on, guys. Technology development does take time, and it does take time to create wealth. But you are getting those staking rewards as long as you're using Flexa capacity and you've moved over your AMP there, right? You're literally dollar cost averaging without having to put more money into the market from the staking rewards for AMP. So I think that's the best thing to do in this scenario, just because of the uncertainty of the market right now. We don't have clear trends. We can apply different theories, but until we have confirmations, the best thing we can do is to continue to update our analysis as we get more data on the charts, like I've done, right? So this is all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoy your 4th of July weekend. I hope everybody stays safe. If you like this comment, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave comments. Also share with your friends, right? Get more people involved in AMP. Let them know about this opportunity. All right. So until tomorrow, y'all. Peace out.